Good morning, class. How are you today? I hope you're fine. After 2 weeks of not meeting. So the expression is long time no see. However, we really need to focus. And sorry to start the morning with our work, but we really need to focus and get start progressing in the module. So I have some reminders for you. So we will start with, well, you know, the week organization. We meet on Wednesdays. Please set your alarm clocks to come to class. If we really work on Wednesday mornings, we will be okay for the rest of the week. Apart from the demand of uploading some work to Educandos. Barbara has a great idea that is, as soon as we finish a class and the forum is created on Educandos, please upload the required materials. You have, that is an important item of evaluation for your final grade. Yes, so you have time to organize your autonomous work. I am not demanding great amounts of autonomous work. If we work on Wednesday morning, then that will be fulfilled. Yes, that need for work will be fulfilled. So, so you know, every week you receive the instructions to work mainly in class, and very short tasks that you have been completing, very short, like we will see, but the forums demand the abstract, which we discussed in class, rewrote, and I will create a new forum for those abstracts. Then you have this, you have summaries, the summaries that you create every class. Whenever we have summaries of some kind of content, you immediately upload that afternoon to the forum. And in that way, you are ready with the activities in the week. So this is the evaluations chart. I wanted you to bear in mind, we have participation in online activities. This is 20% of the final grade, and therefore I worry that we don't have any forum participation. It is true we have had other situations like class suspension. We haven't seen each other for 2 weeks, but let us try to connect again. Participation in the forums should be immediate after you finished an abstract that you need to upload, then you finished a summary that you need to upload. That's immediate, that's same afternoon if possible. We have oral exposition, which is coming. It should have been today, part of that oral exposition. We need to reschedule. So this is really important to pay attention to. Then the research project, which we will start working with in October. So October will be dedicated to the research project, so that then November is dedicated to the integrated evaluation. And therefore, I really need you to pay attention to everything we do in these classes and keep progressing with the research project. So that's the organization. And so please pay attention. This is ongoing. Yes, participation is ongoing every week. There will be something to upload, or a section of a task, or a forum, or a wiki. So I need you to pay attention to that and be updated, yes, since we have to fulfill 20% of the final grade. What is the evaluation coming? Yes, modules evaluation. So coming evaluation. So this coming evaluation is the oral exposition. Remember, we had a quantitative research design summary from 2 weeks ago. I don't remember, probably 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And today you will have a summary for qualitative research approach. So this will be done in groups. And you need to prepare one presentation for each. So one is the quantitative, one is the qualitative. And we will share then our presentations with the rest of the class. Remember that we will be like this jigsaw reading system is that you really support your classmates. You read something in depth and then explain to the others and support their knowledge with your work, and vice versa. So we really need to be thorough in our description so that our classmates can take advantage of. The presentation will be free. If you want PPT, Prezi is free at this point. By the final presentation, we will follow the formal format of research presentations. But this presentation is free. You can use any template. And you will be referring, as we said, to the different approaches in research you read about. We have, yes, in the revision section, yes. So how will we, so today will we work? So today, week 5, we will work with qualitative research summaries and a little bit of reflection of what qualitative research is. And then you will work with your classmates in the summary. Next week, we need to have expositions and some introduction to action research. I am being too hopeful to have time for everything, hopefully. If not, we still have time to work with action research in October and start working with research projects. We will have 4 weeks in a row to do both, a little bit of theory presentation and your work. So everything we discuss in class, then we need to apply to our research projects. Yeah, so we have the methodology. So everything that we're doing is in the realm of methodology, quantitative research designs, qualitative research designs, action research, in the case you decide on this design, and then procedures and instruments for data collection and data analysis strategies, and objectivity and ethical issues. So all of these elements we need to add to our methodological framework. So everything we see in the theory, we read about, we discuss about, you transfer to your research projects. In this way is the way in which we will progress with that research project so as to have a final version to present orally on December, it's at the beginning of this, let me check, December the 1st, if I am not mistaken. Yes, December the 1st should be the oral presentation of this project, the formal presentation, and the final written version will be ready for, I think, around the 15th. The 15th of December, the final written version. So you still, you have time, but do not, I mean, we don't need to stop working. On the contrary, we need to keep up our work so that we get to December with the materials ready. So this is the organization so far. We can have some alterations. We have to be flexible to having some alterations. Remember, this last week of October is the week in which a university celebrates its anniversary. So probably we will have news around this time. So we need to be prepared. Okay. We need urgent attention to forum participation. This is urgent. Forum 1 will be created new, yes? This forum will be created this will be a new forum. That is what I want to say. This is a new forum. Since we had uploaded, remember, abstracts that we corrected, I am going to delete everything that was uploaded there and give you the opportunity to upload the new abstracts. Do you remember this? We did this in class in week 2. In week 2, we revised everything about abstract writing. And the task was to create a new abstract for your pre-research projects and upload them there. So I'm going to create this new forum, absolutely new forum for you to upload your abstracts. That is one. And forum 2 contains a summary of the or the graphic organizer or any visual organizer with the contents on quantitative research design. And we finished the class on that, on quantitative research design, and not all of you uploaded your summaries or your displays or your graphic organizers. So that is what you're required to do so far. So these 2 forums. Okay, do we have any questions so far? Some color here.
No, Miss.
No, okay, so I revise again. So 2 forums, because we need to account for this 20% of the grade, and oral presentation, 2 oral presentations, one on quantitative research design and now another on qualitative research design. That will account for another 20%. Yes. The due date is in October. I wanted to write this with flexibility for me to upload the grades, but this is really due next week. If we need a little bit more time, that will be on 6th October, but we cannot take longer because we need to concentrate on other topics. I will upload also the rubric, the oral presentation rubric. Remember that you are you're focusing on the content, of course, the accuracy of your summaries, but also the use of specific vocabulary. Remember, you have also been paying attention to vocabulary. This is specific research vocabulary that you're working with. Also paying attention to pronunciation, speaking clearly. Yes. Trying to explain, not read, just to support your speaking skills and the development of speaking skills. Okay, so do we have any other question in regards upcoming evaluations? So coming evaluations and ongoing evaluation. Any questions? So we will keep on.
No.
Yes, so every week we will be keeping on, we will keep on our schedule to see how we progress. And if we need to do something extra, schedule or schedule also, sometimes it's pronounced schedule. Okay, so this is our work schedule or schedule. So I hope we can stick to this organization so that we can keep progressing. All right, so revision. So far ago, we had classes and you read and we discussed first of all, and then you read and summarized about quantitative research and designs. Yes, quantitative research. And we said a short summary of quantitative research refers to what is the purpose? Why do we use a quantitative research design. And this is mainly because we explore commonalities in the study in a population, yes. And it includes measurements and variables. We talked about variables that can be measured, yes, and different kinds of variables. You have everything, those summaries in the previous PPT. Also, quantitative research establishes a cause and effect relationship. And this is very important whenever we are having a problem to solve, whenever we want to answer a question. So I will write it here. When we want to answer a question is, what kind of relationship do we have whenever we establish a quantitative research design? Because at this point, and now when we discuss about qualitative, you need to start asking yourselves, what is the design I want to apply in my research, to my research problem, just because it is the appropriate design for the study I want to carry out. And also we talked about variables. That is a concept that can be measured by objective units of measurement. So in quantitative research, we mostly talk about commonalities, measures, and a cause and effect relationship. Yes, if we do and we saw this repeated in the experimental designs. Yes, if we impose such a kind of experiment, then we have some result. If we do this intervention, we might have this effect. So in that sense. Also, we have very specific vocabulary. Remember, effectiveness, impact, effects, the effects of this on that. Yes, so always this relationship, something causes something. And now you have to think, always keep on thinking if your research projects respond to these logics. Yes, so if you're thinking of studying the influence of some variables on a reality or on a situation and so forth. So in your group work, you read about, so now I need you to help me remember who read which design. So do you remember? The placebo and the match control was Camila and Daniela. So if you remember, the comparative was
I don't
Barbara.
remember. Yes, Javi, did you remember? No, do you remember?
Do you remember anything? If not, don't worry. You need to remember because you need to.
I remember.
Uh-huh.
I choose the first one. No, after
the comparative.
Yes, it's the comparative design. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That's yes. And the after only and the before and after. Do you remember? Who did that after only and before and after? I don't quite remember those people. The control group design and double control design. These two, does anyone remember? Please check because you need to present on this. Check in your notes. Okay. So let me check in my notes, but please check in your notes because you need to present on them. Okay, so we have here Araceli and Javiera, after only and before and after. This information was from Kumar. So you have your support there, yes.
And Kate.
And
teacher.
Kate. Ah, okay, yes, and Kate. You're right. And Kate. So remember, this is Kumar. These are very short, really very short explanations and examples. You need to find examples. There is in the PPT, you have some issues to pay attention to, like, for example, searching for examples. How would you use this? It's not necessarily from your study, since probably your study is not this kind of study, but thinking on how can it be used in education. Yes, which examples? And then the control group design and double control group was Lucas, control group, double control group, yes. Lucas. Oh, sorry. Genesis and Liselda. Alejandra, I think we need to give you one of these designs to present. Please, Lucas, Genesis. Since you need one qualitative and one quantitative. Yes, and this is Camila and Daniel. Okay, so for you to remember, you did this 2-3 weeks ago. So now we are catching up with that information, all the information. Javiera and Alejandra and Eileen, I need you to decide on one of these because this is your presentation for next week. One of your presentations, yes? Experimental study designs. So you can do the control group and double control group. Do you think?
Okay.
Yes, so it's not difficult. They are short explanations, as I said, and probably what is most demanding is looking for examples. How can they be used in education? Since that is our area of work. It's not a comparative design. No, not a comparative. It's the control group. Okay. So please go back to Kumar and check our discussions from the last class, class in week 3. So double, oh, no, this continues moving. And I can do this. Okay, the control group design and the double control design. Okay, so this is Alejandra and Eileen. So this is week 3. In week 3, you're going to find all of the information and suggestions for reading and searching for examples. Many of these research designs are used in health sciences, in medicine, but many have also been used in education, especially when we talk about interventions, but that do not refer, of course, to medical issues. All right. Okay. So welcome to everyone. Thank you for coming just in time to start your new preparation. So this is in regards your quantitative research design presentation. So that is part 1 section of your presentation. Yes, the quantitative research design. So you have some illustrations, some graphic organizers from Kumar. Think how else can you make it more understandable to your classmates with new visuals, if possible. Okay, so now we move on to qualitative research. So we finish here the revision and presentation of upcoming evaluations. Do we have any questions so far? Do we have everyone in the list? Do we have any questions?
So we summarize, we should upload our summaries to the forum.
Yes, so forum 2.
Mhm.
Yes, about quantitative research, forum 2 is here is the visual display. So a visual organizer can be a graphic organizer, an infographic with a summary of the different designs of your designs. Yes, so that's forum 2. Yes, for the newcomers, we also reminded that I will create a new forum 1 to upload your revised abstracts. Remember that we had a problem with the first abstract. We revised abstract writing, and now we are uploading that new abstract to this new forum. Yes, so pay attention. This will be a new forum. Yes, for you to pay attention to. Forum 2, you have this. I'm sure you have this somewhere in your computers, in your cell phone. So look for the past class summaries, and we will have you will have there the information. Okay, so we turn our brains to qualitative research, and we have been talking, or we read now and then about about comparisons between them, between the two big approaches. Yes, and we were talking that time, last time, about quantitative research and its strong numerical tendency, whereas we said that in qualitative research data was not numerical, it was different. So there you have one characteristic to focus on in qualitative research. So what do you remember? If we don't have numerical data, what do we have in contrast? Just one of the characteristics. If we don't have numbers and quantitative amounts of data, what do we have in qualitative?
It's about not numbers. It's about character. No, no characteristic, but a subject aspect. Subjetivos. Estos subjetivos.
Subjective.
Yes.
Subjective aspect. No, subjective. Subjective data. Yes. Or a subject. You analyze a subjective aspect. That is what you want to say. Yes. Aspect analysis. Yes. So if you analyze a subjective aspect of an issue, of a problem, then probably it's not a numerical data. That's a kind of a problem that I cannot transfer into numbers. So what is most probably am I going to which kind of data am I going to collect if they are not numbers or transferable to numbers?
Experiences,
exactly. Experiences, words. So I collect words. Yes, experiences, and I have 20 pages of interviews, for example. Yes, so pure words, experiences, and and of course I get to abstract analysis of subjective areas. Yes, of subjective aspects of problems. So yes. Above all, then what about the researcher or the participants?
The main I don't know, in the way for no, for see result, not for
Mhm.
catch. Oh, yeah, for
Obtain a result.
yeah,
obtain,
is also a través of
Through-
surveys, collect data, and
Yes, so yes, to collect data through interviews.
yes,
Yes, interviews is a great way to collect data because we're collecting experiences, stories, yes, different.
Ye-
Yes, you will see also there are stories, there are different kinds of stories, but we collect lots of interviews, lots of verbal data, words. Yes, there are observations as well. And there are other types of data that you can also be collected in qualitative research designs. Interviews, yes. And the position of the, well, we will see in the characteristics, the position of the researcher is also very important. Is most in most of the cases is a participant, is involved in a site, and therefore in the field, and therefore it's a very important aspect of data collection and analysis. So always remember the importance of the researcher in qualitative research. And that relationship with the participants, we have seen that, for example, in double control group experimental designs, what is searched for is the real separation between the figure of the importance of the researcher and the participant. Whereas here is a much nearer relationship. And some authors really support the idea that participants are also co-researchers in a way, supporting that research process. So there are different schools and different trends, but the relationship between researcher and participants is also interesting to bear in mind. It's a different one from quantitative research. Okay. With surveys between researchers and participants. With surveys, I wanted to clarify. Surveys ask you to answer you respond close statements. Yes, in surveys. Some surveys have open questions at the end, just to collect this other kind of data. Yes, but in reality, a survey is analyzed by means of quantitative instruments, because those answers can be transferred to numerical data. So we are that is why I say it can be an instrument that has access to both kinds of data, yes, to numerical data or to data that can be transferred to numbers, and qualitative data like open questions. So always think that in qualitative research, we need to gather experiences, stories, and therefore interviews. There are other ways we are going to see also in other classes, interviews, including open-ended questions mainly. Yes, because we need our participants to speak and to tell and to tell all of their stories and experiences. And for that, we need to give them this space, these open questions with which they can feel comfortable to speaking. Yes, to speak. Sorry. Including open-ended questions. So the more open-ended questions, the more open, the better for qualitative research. And some of the approaches you're going to read about, you can see that some of them give you examples of which kind of questions to ask. Yes, so they need to be open-ended mostly. All right, so we have a listening. You will answer some questions after listening. A very short video about what is qualitative research, but we have said several of the characteristics. And I wanted to focus on what is that Denzin and Lincoln say. These two researchers have been collecting lots of work along many years, lots of work done by different researchers within qualitative research designs. And they have this definition of qualitative research. So, something important for you to pay attention to. Qualitative research is situated. What does it mean that it's situated?
Like I'll contextualize it? I don't know.
Contextualized, excellent. So it is contextualized. So you are in a situation, you are in a school, you're studying a school, a specific situation, for example, schools in our case, but you can study institutions or, I don't know, so I know, groups, larger groups, peoples, indigenous peoples, by means of qualitative research, since it is in a field, it is situated. And also locates the observer in the world, and this observer is generally the researcher. So it has a position and an important position. It's not only a person who analyzes data, as in the most cases of quantitative research, but he observes the world and has a position in that world, in that situation. Then a set of interpretive. What is interpretive? So we pay attention to what? Interpretive, and we have a noun. So we can say, if we change this word, interpretive is an adjective. How do we have a noun? Interprete. ¿Cómo es el sustantivo? Interpretive es un adjetivo. To interpret is the verb. Yeah, yes, Griselda, you're saying.
Okay.
What did you say? Interpretation. Yes, interpretation.
That's what I said.
Yes, so it looks for an interpretation, also exploration. We are going to see, yes, exploration, but also interpretation. So here we're trying to interpret a problem in a situation, in a context in the world, and makes the world visible. So what is a qualitative researcher doing? Makes the world visible. We want to make what visible? Remember here.
Yeah, experience. And
experiences, subjective aspects. So whenever I see something in data, I find, oh, this is something that is not visible. If I don't gather this data, if I don't give people opportunity to speak, this is not going to be visible.
Mhm.
So that is what is so fascinating of qualitative research, since you can make something that is not known and can go by unattended visible. You make that something visible. Okay, then yes, we create a series of representations. Okay, so this is a kind of data we can collect. Field notes, we said interviews, conversations, photos. Yeah, so all of the different kinds of data I can have. So it's not only words by means of notes or interviews or conversations, but photographs, for example, recordings. Okay. So qualitative research involves interpretive again. So it offers an interpretation. Naturalistic. Why naturalistic? And we said this already. Why naturalistic? Again, because it is? Because? Mhm.
Because it is related to the real life of the.
Yes, exactly. It's to situation, to real life, to real world. Yes, so I don't need a laboratory. So I go to school and there I have a natural setting. Yes, everyday life setting, a family or a indigenous people. Yes, a community. So those are naturalistic places. Also, therefore, we have a naturalistic approach. So again, yes, qualitative researchers study things in their natural settings. Yes. Trying to make sense, again, interpret. So make sense, interpret. So trying to interpret, yes. Phenomena. Phenomena. Phenomena is the Latin plural of phenomenon. And that is also very much found in every design qualitative research. So phenomena. Some of them study specific phenomena as phenomenology, but not only. There is phenomena always permeating in different research designs, qualitative research designs. And so they want to pay attention to the meanings people bring to them. So who are the ones dictating the meaning, expressing their experiences, but also transmitting meanings? Who are the ones that transmit meaning? Only the researcher? Who are the ones? Whose meaning? El significado de quién o de quiénes are we talking about? What can you see? Who are people? We haven't talked.
The people who is in the interview.
Yes, the participants.
Yeah.
Participants, exactly. So this is something that is not known in other research approaches. Yes. So we qualitative researchers try to understand the meaning people give to the experiences. So it's not only my decision, it's not only my understanding, but these experiences have to do with the meaning people attach to those experiences. I have to make that visible. Yes, and there are many examples you will see in your readings, but for example, the phenomenon of anger, I think is one of the most well-known studies in phenomenology. And so they try to make visible the meaning that people attach to anger. What was anger for them? So that is why the relationship between researcher and participant is so near. I have to understand the meaning my participants attach to the phenomenon. In that case, anger, but there are others as well, and many, many others. So this is what is so particular of qualitative research. And whenever thinking of your projects, you have to be really meaningful. So is this what I want to do? Or do I choose the other approach in which I have cause and effect? Here, probably I have interpretation, I have exploration. Yes, I have making the world visible, or aspects visible that will not be visible otherwise. Okay, so this is your moment of thinking. And then we will do this, it's very short, the audio, I hope the audio is okay. But this very short video, it's the shortest I found, is made in the area of marketing. Marketing uses, and social studies, sociology in general, use qualitative researchers a lot. And they, because they try to get near the experiences of people. And so marketing uses a lot of qualitative research, lots of interviews, focus groups, also in, for example, surveys in relationship to politics, elections, and so on and so forth. They conduct surveys, but also focus groups or collective interviews in which they gather all type of data, but also qualitative data, just because they are interested in the experiences. Yes, the subjective aspects, preferences, likes, dislikes, perceptions. So this video is, but gives examples from marketing, but they can be really transferable to other areas. So the short explanation says what is qualitative research. So pay attention, make notes. How many participants, or refers to the amount of participants. Respondents, they can be called participants, respondents, or cases. Different words, but we talk about participants, it's generally accepted in English. Does it include what is said about analysis of qualitative data? So give some kind of different kinds of analysis, or some kinds of analysis. When is qualitative research useful? And this is also a question you should be asking. I will be asking you also later, which is why is either research design useful for your purposes, for your own projects? So applicable or useful or appropriate also. What kind of analysis can be carried out with qualitative data, and what is said about techniques for data collection in qualitative research? So it's very short, but it really talks about different topics, just for you to listen to a video, to have a different kind of input. Not only reading, but I need to change my browser now. Hopefully I have it. Hopefully I can. Yes. So it's very short, and I hope the audio is okay. So that's why I chose it. So remember the question: what is qualitative research? How many, or something related to participants or respondents? Analysis of qualitative data. Why is qualitative data useful? What kind of analysis can be carried out? And techniques to collect data. So we are also thinking ahead, because that will be coming in future classes, as those topics. Is this okay?
Hello class, can I explain any marketing concepts?
Professor Siegfried, can you explain what qualitative research is?
Well, Sarah, qualitative research focuses on subjective data that is not easily coded into numbers. The emphasis is on words and feelings rather than numbers. Qualitative research tends to work with fewer subjects or respondents, cases, but analyzes each case to a deeper level. It is particularly useful when marketing needs answers to questions relating to motivation and emotions, such as consumer needs and perceptions, subjective opinions, brand images, brand personality, and testing of advertisements. It follows that qualitative analysis is a set of techniques specifically developed to analyze qualitative data like content analysis, text analysis, and conceptual analysis. Key qualitative research techniques include focus groups and observational techniques like the disposable camera method for the observation of behavior in natural settings.
Thanks, Professor, for explaining qualitative research.
Okay, it's very short, as I said, very, very short, but so this special kind of professor speaks funny, but he gives lots of information of what we already said or something new. What did you hear? What could you hear, and what do you remember? Or
Maybe we need
Another to
yeah.
listen again? Okay, yes, we will
What
listen to that again.
Oh,
Yes, I will copy the questions in the chat so you have the questions also visual. And I think we listen, you take notes, and we come back after a short break so you can bring something to drink and keep awake.
It's a good idea.
Yes, exactly. So we bring something, some hot tea, some hot coffee. So you have the questions in the chat. And we will see this Professor Siegfried, something like that is called. Explaining. So he speaks so short, and he speaks from the vision of marketing, but what he mentions can be also used in education. Some of the words are almost the same.
Hello class, can I explain any marketing concepts?
Professor Siegfried, can you explain what qualitative research is?
Well, Sarah, qualitative research focuses on subjective data that is not easily coded into numbers. The emphasis is on words and feelings rather than numbers. Qualitative research tends to work with fewer subjects or respondents, cases, but analyzes each case to a deeper level. It is particularly useful when marketing needs answers to questions relating to motivation and emotions such as consumer needs and perceptions, subjective opinions, brand images, brand personality and testing of advertisements. It follows that qualitative analysis is a set of techniques specifically developed to analyze qualitative data like content analysis, text analysis, and conceptual analysis. Key qualitative research techniques include focus groups and observational techniques like the disposable camera method for the observation of behavior in natural settings.
Thanks, Professor, for explaining qualitative research.
Okay. So some of the words, some of the vocabulary they use, we have already used. Subjective. So there are many words that we already used. So now we will come back. So again, here are the questions for us to discuss. So we come back in 10 minutes, but no more than 10 minutes because we still have to divide your readings. Yes?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Miss.
See you. Okay, hello everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, Miss.
Yes, I don't want to lose you. Your connection, wonderful connection today. Forum 1. So I will, so when you're working in groups, I will create the new forum. Okay, so just comments, just to finish about this definition. So what did you hear about qualitative research? And it is related, everything is related to what we were discussing before. What is it? It refers to something we already said. What does he say? It's about the kind of, it is referred to numerical, non-numerical.
Non-numerical.
Yes, so non-numerical, yes.
Yes.
Related to non-numerical data.
Mhm.
Miss, also in the video, they said that it is related to the feelings and emotions of the people.
Yes, exactly. So what kind or when is it useful? Yes, when we need to, yes, he talks about marketing, but we can also do it in education, in sociology, in anthropology. Yes, when it is useful, when they need to, when there is a need to understand feelings and emotions. Exactly.
Yes, try to explain the behaviors or stuff related to the persons.
Yes, to people.
Yes.
Behaviors. Excellent. Yes. Subjective aspects, what we said also before. Subjective aspects of different phenomena in groups of people. Yes. When he says something about respondents, but he says something about analysis. Does he say we need a lot of participants? He says a few respondents, but how do you analyze data? That's the most important thing.
A group of the persons.
Yes, groups, but how do you analyze data? So you don't have a lot of people like quantitative. Quantitative, we can have 10,000 people. Here we can have few participants, 10, 15. But what about analysis? And here is.
There you can use quizzes.
Yes, but in analysis, how do you analyze this data? So think, you have a lot of participants and then the machine analyzes this data for you with numbers. But if you have few, I only have 10 participants. How do I need to analyze that? But I have 20 pages of interviews. So probably I don't need many people, many respondents, many participants, but what do I have to do with the data? The analysis of data. There is the key. Ahí estaría la clave. No necesito muchos participantes, tengo 10. Pero ¿cómo tengo que analizar esos datos? Think if there is a relationship there. It is said in the video very shortly. And there is an adjective. The analysis is deep. What does it mean, deep? What is deep? Deep or shallow?
Is
Profundo.
Yeah.
Profundo, yes. So I need to analyze data deeply. Yes, probably I only have 10 participants, but my analysis has to be deep, thorough. Thorough is another word in English. Thorough means muy profundo, muy que abarca todos los aspectos, yes? So we said here, yes, subjective aspect analysis, but I need to analyze all of those aspects within experiences. So probably with a survey, I have 1,000 respondents, but the survey will not give me this. It doesn't ask me to have a deep analysis as interviews do, for example. And then here he talks about different kinds of analysis. One of them is content analysis. We will see others. Content analysis means what are we analyzing? I think he says content, yes. And there is another word, thematical. Thematical analysis. What are we analyzing in this data? Thematical analysis or content analysis, what do you think that it refers to? Any idea what is content? What is content or theme in Spanish?
Contenidos.
Contenido, tema.
Sí, tema.
Yes, exactly. So that's one of the possible analysis. So you will see, we will go back to that topic. And then techniques for data collection. We said something here, interviews. And I think he mentions one more.
Is
I don't know what.
for the data connection, the collection is interviews.
Yes.
Um,
Oh, there's another group, focus group. I don't know whether he says focus group. Focus group or collective or group interview is saves time. So instead of having one-to-one people, there's one participant, the researcher, you have a group of people as participants. So that's very much used in marketing, for example, or for also in this different having to do with, well, marketing is one of the most known, with politics. Also, what are people going to vote, or what do they want from their candidates, for example. Those kind of interviews are done in groups, focus groups or group interviews. Okay, so wonderful. You will have opportunity to listen to that again, just to practice listening. That's something good for you. And here I would like you to pay attention to, again, this graphic organizer that summarizes the definition that we were talking about the characteristics of qualitative research. Yes, so we said that it's situated, the researcher, the importance of the researcher, how it is interpretive, reflective, yes, focuses on perspectives, what we were saying, that also the professor in the video was saying, the perspectives, the meanings of people, their perceptions, their experiences. So for you to have also in graphic organizer what the definitions say. But the most important thing is your reflection time, because you have had some advances with your pre-projects. Why do you think you decided to focus on, well, on the problem we said is something that was near to your experience as well, the topics you decided on, the research problems. But if you thought of a qualitative study, why did you think the qualitative design is appropriate? Or on the opposite, why do you think a quantitative design is appropriate? Either or, you have to tell me, which did you decide? Or which were you thinking of? would like to explain?
About the first question, Miss, no, not the. Why did you decide to conduct a quality? Because I want understand why the why of one stuff. For example, I don't know why the children's the parent children's I don't know,
Children's parents.
don't follow their careers, or why are not professionals.
Yes. And so the experiences, the life experiences of parents, for example.
Yes. And but I with the research, I try to understand better to this person.
Yes,
so
the subjective aspects.
Exactly. I need only with the qualitative study only the researcher receive the aspect for know more than her eyes that can see.
Exactly, to make visible, remember, yes? To make the world visible. Yes, exactly, that's what you want. To make something that is not easy to know, to see, to make that something visible. Excellent. So Barbara is sure. And here, yes, in this, I have the whole reasons why to choose qualitative, but I want you to tell me first. So yes, Barbara is sure her study is qualitative because she's interested in these subjective aspects, experiences, stories of people, and to make something visible that is not visible otherwise, to interpret also, to explore. That is another verb that we would use a lot. Any other? Araceli? Javiera? I think you need to think about this because you will be now reading and you will have to take ownership because the following week after the presentations, we start working in our projects. Or quantitative on the opposite. Daniela, can you explain something about your project? Or if you want to write in the chat, I can read. So in that sense, always keep active thinking of what your project means or why did you decide on this or that? Just because this will keep us connected to our readings. Okay, so we said everyone trying to do something qualitative, you are interested in a situation, a situated research that wants to make some problem visible. You're going to probably collect interviews, stories, conversations. You want to interpret, make sense, interpret phenomena, different kinds of phenomena. And in there, in the midst of your projects, you need to position yourself. What is this phenomenon that you want to discover? And for example, Genesis, Griselda, you have important experiences there with in your study, don't you? About teachers. So in that study, they also tried to look for experiences of teachers in this case. So just think you need to explain your decisions. Yes, I will ask you this every week so that you keep thinking and taking ownership. That means you're making yourself, you position yourself in that research study and you make decisions. So why do we use qualitative research? You are not sure, what am I going to do in my project? You need to read this list. So if you want to explore a problem or issue, yes, if it is whichever problem or issue you want to pursue, to identify non-measurable variables or hear silent voices. For example, teachers in the countryside, in these schools, their voices are not heard. So I will want to listen to their voices, to their experiences. As Barbara says, the parents, students' parents are also probably not represented in research. So we need to hear their voices. And also identify variables that are non-measurable, yes? So we said experiences, stories, perceptions, emotions, so not measurable, that's not measurable, no la podemos medir. To obtain a complex, detailed understanding of an issue, yes? Of some phenomenon, as I said, the example in the literature is, for example, anger. So you need to understand what does anger mean? El enojo, what is that? Okay, so you need a detailed understanding of that problem, yes, of that phenomenon. And therefore you talk to people, because in those 20 pages of interviews, I have this, yes, I have this detailed representation of that phenomenon. Yeah, that's why. Remember, we said the professor says deep, profundo, yes, detallado, profundo comprensión. Yes, it's the same as detail. To observe everyday lives. Oh, sorry. I wrote the wrong way. To observe participants' everyday lives. Yes, that is also a kind of qualitative research. To observe participants, that is very much done in education, therefore in schools, in institutions as well, participants' everyday lives or work, yes? And allowing them, yes, not tell a story. So you tell participants to share their stories. To empower individuals. Remember, I explained to you, I think we were here, here, when we were talking the relationship, the importance of the researcher and the participant. Just because the participants are very important, yes? In a qualitative research. They are not only volunteers that want to try a vaccine, but they have a story to tell, they have experience, a perception to share. And we need to make, we want to make that visible. So empower individuals is important, yes, through qualitative research. That is the way in which we hear those stories of people who are not normally heard, yes, so esas voces, esas historias que no se escuchan normalmente. To invite participants to collaborate, and that's a great way to conduct research as well. So your participants are also your collaborators. They also analyze data, and there is not analyze data, but also add certain or help in the interpretation, and that is called member checking. So that is what we do when we have when we start analyzing data. We send back that interpretation or part of that interpretation to participants, and they give their feedback. Yes, that is if the experience is well interpreted or not. So interpretation, remember we said that word several times. Explore and interpret. To understand the context, that's what we said, the first thing in the definition, yes? A context, the setting is situated. It's a school, it's a grade, it's a group of people, indigenous people. It's always under, the context is always important. It's a jail, for example, yes? People in jail, people in an institution, in a school, as I said, at the hospital, wherever. To explain mechanisms or linkages. So remember, in quantitative research, we have this cause and effect, yes? Causal theories. But qualitative gives us the opportunity to explain these mechanisms, yes, between these causal theories. So it's not only A causes B, but also other, as we said, subjective mechanisms. So that is why qualitative data is also analyzed in quantitative research. To explain processes experienced by people, to develop theories where we don't have a good theory or a adequate theory. Okay, so if you keep on reading and thinking every week, I will ask you this question: why do you want to conduct either qualitative or quantitative? You should be able to explain why. Here you have a list of why you will do qualitative research. And the previous week you have why would you do quantitative research. Okay, so now your time to work and read. So we will have quite an hour to read. And what will you pay attention to? So we have five approaches: narrative, phenomenological, grounded, theory, ethnographic, and case study. The book is uploaded to Educandos. It's too big to share in another way. So we have narrative, phenomenological, grounded, theory, ethnographic, and case study. You can choose, think which would you like to do if you have any special interest, but each group will read one and share your summaries with your classmates. Okay, the book is Qualitative Inquiry and Research Design, Choosing Among 5 Approaches by Creswell, chapter 4. Okay, what are you going to do? Check vocabulary. So here I have given you some words to look up. Yes, so vocabulary in general, in reference to what you will find there, you will find words like approach, phenomenon, inquiry, hermeneutic, memoing. Yes, yes.
Can you share the 22 slide?
Yes.
I need
yes. Yes, I will
screenshot.
share the whole slideshow as well. So you take notes of the following. You check vocabulary, you take notes while you're reading, summarize the information in reference to definition and background of the approach.
It's for now.
Characteristics, yes, you have to do now because you have to present next week. So the more you have today done, the better. Types of, there are certain types of narrative research, for example, and some procedures. It's not very long, just the main procedures for this approach. Also think of examples. And for example, if you already have your example in mind and you think of my research goes well with this design, you can give that example. So if you have narrative design, for example, research, where can it be used? What can I do? Which examples can I present? And then also, as we did with quantitative, you prepare a graphic organizer, a visual display. How will you explain this design to your classmates? I will share all of the PPT, the complete PPT. Now I need you to, you have the book on Educandos because it is very big to share otherwise. It's a whole book on qualitative inquiry. And now I need you to decide and tell me the groups for each design and you start working. And we meet 10, we have a 20 to 12 because we have another class. You have a class, I also have a class at 12. So now, who is interested in which, or we just do a lottery? It's the same. Which do you think? Iselda, Araceli, would you like to choose or we do a lottery?
We can choose. Can we?
I think it is more useful if you choose, but either or. You need to read one. Remember, you are working. Yes, thinking of your presentation, but yes, thinking of your task, but also helping others. Yeah? Yes.
I want to choose one, Miss.
Okay, Barbara.
Case study.
Case study. Okay. Case study. Yes.
Javi, we will work together.
Okay. Case study. Interesting. Yes, it is very much used in education. Very much.
Javi is here. Yeah.
Ethnographic is a very specific kind of research, and ethnographic, it takes a lot of time, but it's very valuable. Yes, ethnographic research was done, for example, with peoples, indigenous peoples in Africa. Los primeros antropólogos hacían mucha etnografía con pueblos originarios de África, por ejemplo, estudiaban toda su cultura. De ahí viene etnografía. Now it's done in other settings as well. Who would like to do ethnographic?
Miss, I will choose narrative research.
Okay, Liselda, narrative, yes, it's very interesting, narrative. Liselda, Genesis, and Lucas, okay. Araceli? Ethnographic?
I don't know, teacher. Javi.
Phenomenological?
Kate.
I don't know.
Well, then you will decide. When you see the presentations of your classmates, you will see, oh, probably Liselda's research design or her summary is more useful for me. You will see later, but now we need to decide. Alejandra, will you do ethnographic? This is very historical. ¿sí? Tiene bases históricas muy antiguas, la etnografía. It's very interesting. It is really very interesting. It is done a lot in institutions, in companies nowadays, yes? In universities, in departments, in classrooms. Yes, this is also a research you can carry out in a classroom with students and teachers. Yes, ethnographic. Grounded theory. It is used especially when there is no theory. So there's no theory to explain, and I read one of this in this book, an article in which researchers were trying to explain the behavior of women going to gym, something like that. So there's no theory to explain behavior of people who decide to go to gym and then go and then they don't go, for example, something like that. So they did a grounded theory. They created a theoretical framework. So this is very interesting. It's great. I love grounded theory. I really love it. Of course, you need to find the application. So I think, who would like to research on this? It's very interesting. And phenomenology is my favorite. These two are really my favorites. So I don't charge any money. Just I lend them to you. Who would like to do which? Araceli, you do phenomenology? It's really interesting. It's really interesting. I love it. When I did it, I loved it. I loved, you will see, it's great. And grounded theory, do we still have people? ¿Todos? We still?
No,
Camila.
Camila.
Yes, no, Camila and Daniela, okay. You will love grounded theory. You will really love it. Yes, it's great. Because it gives you so much freedom, yes, to study phenomena and find a theoretical basis that is great. It's very demanding, it's time consuming, but it's great. So it's great reading. It's a little bit longish, but not impossible to read. It's easy reading. It's really easy reading. And you need to focus on the most important, yes, the definition, when to use, and there we have the explanation when to use each. which characteristics, if there are types, and some procedures. If you collect data, you analyze it, but very short because later we will focus on procedures as well in another class. Okay, are we clear? I am going to share this with you, divide you in groups. And what else? And okay, it's asking me. So Barbara, okay, would you like to share just as a roundup? We will wait for the presentations next week.
So the next
person-
week we will share
It's a presentation.
with Javiera we will present about
Case study.
yeah. Oh, good. Good.
Remember, Barbara, also you will present on your quantitative research design. Remember, I explained that at the beginning. You have two short presentations, but they are not so very long, yes? One is on quantitative research design that you read 2-3 weeks ago, and this qualitative research from today. Okay, so what can you share?
So we will talk about narrative research.
No, case study.
Only, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so the case study is a specific illustration about a case, have a context, a real scenario, and explain a specific situation and have a context and is in context. It's a qualitative research that the case implies the collection of data, but is really deep and have a lot of details.
Yes.
This research is popular in the social scientifics, is used in the anthropologies and sociology and medicine, and that are areas of the where the case study is used. Yes.
Also, education. Also in education, it's used a lot. Yes.
Some characteristic is that try to identify a specific case, have a place and time specific, could be developed around to individual, yes, a group, association, or community.
Yes,
the intention that is the case should be could be a specific unique case or unusual.
Yes, unusual. So we have intrinsic, then you explain next.
Yeah.
So intrinsic or instrumental.
Exactly. When
it is done a lot with one classroom, with one school, for example.
Yes, when you need when the case need be described is an intrinsic case. Also, another intention is that it is for explain a problem, a preoccupation.
Yes,
or
that's an instrumental.
Exact.
When you explain through a case, some kind of problem. Okay, excellent. Anyone else? Phenomenology, Araceli, Javiera, what did you learn about that? Or any other? Just to have just something brief, because we have to round up.
Okay, Miss. Phenomenological research is mainly composed of the philosophical area. This type of study collects the individual experiences of people around a common phenomenon or object. After collecting this individual data, the researcher makes a global description in which he summarizes the experiences live by the participants and explains what and how they experienced these situations.
Yes, for example, as I gave you the example of anger, but that's one. Also shootings, remember the shootings in universities in the United States have been studied by means of phenomenology, which is the experience of people in those situations. Excellent. Narrative. Genesis, Zelda.
Yeah.
Anything brief to say about narrative? Brief,
Yeah.
only one sentence.
It begins with the experiences of the individual, and it's a type of qualitative design, and the research could focus on one or two individuals and then collects their stories in a chronological way, ordering their experiences.
Yes, exactly. So it's very much done with for example, with immigrants. It has been done in Canada with immigrants in Canada, telling their stories of coming to a new country and their experiences. For example, longitudinal studies with narrative stories, narrative research. Yes, excellent. And ethnographic, Alejandra, Eileen, do you have anything?
Yes. Ethnographic is not a study of a culture, but it's a study of a social behavior of a group of people. It focuses on an entire cultural group. This group may be small, but it is usually large because it seeks to involve the entire social community. And the ethnographer is interested in studying the patterns shared by this culture. It is qualitative design, since the information is obtained from the observation of the people on day-to-day basis. With interviews, behavior is studied, language, beliefs, and values of a group and their interaction with each other.
Yes, exactly. So as I said, it was done in peoples, for example, in peoples in Africa, but then it also moved into our modern world also. Anthropologists used to do ethnographic research studies.
Yes.
And now we can have, for example, a person studying a company, a school, yes, a classroom. Yeah, so there are different ethnographic studies done even with small groups like students and teacher in a classroom. So they study all of the relationships in reference to elements, language, rituals, everything that exists in that group. Okay, so I think Daniela was not online, although I told her, Daniela, did she connect? No, I don't think she could come back, but she has also her design. Okay, so I think it's as I can see, you have something to say, and it's not difficult to understand. You might have certain technicisms, but you can find you have the dictionaries where to find the information. You have here the Oxford reference is a dictionary, a reference dictionary, online dictionary to find words in relationship to research. Okay, so apart from what we learned today, we need to clarify what do we need to do next Wednesday. So our agreements is that you check again the forums. So forum 1 was created new, so you have to upload your abstracts, and forum 2 was dedicated to upload your summaries of quantitative research designs. Then you have the presentations. So,
Miss,
yes?
what we did today must be uploaded on Educandos.
No, Eliselda, prepare your presentations and we will upload next week.
Oh,
It's better.
okay.
Yes, and upload your check forums 1 and 2 and upload your materials there. Then you have oral presentations next week. So for your oral presentations, you have presentations. Yes. The first presentation is on quantitative. And you already know, we revised in a previous slide, the different experimental designs for each group. Yes. Quantitative research design is the first one. Please check there. And that's a brief presentation really, because you don't have a long explanation. So I think that will be not so difficult to do. The next one is oral presentation 2 is on qualitative. This that you were explaining now, qualitative research and design and those presentations will be shared next week. Remember that we are also thinking of our projects, but also thinking these summaries can be used for by our classmates. So whenever you are explaining, your classmates need to understand, oh, that probably is the design I need for my project. So always think, I will ask you again, why did you decide on this or other research design for your project? Do you have any doubts?
Yes, but it's only
Barbara?
for be a good word. So the first presentation is about the another reading.
Yes, quantitative research we read in week 3. Remember, the materials are in week 3.
Yes, when we talk about, for example, I will make a present about the comparative design.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. No,
and the second presentation is
today.
discussed today. Yes.
Okay.
So go upwards, you have the divisions for qualitative research. And remember, you're thinking of something visual, yes, to share. This easier probably for your classmates to understand. Think also of some examples, as we said, yes. So for example, case study can be, it can be a class, it can be a group of students working together. That can be they can be a class, a case study. Okay, any questions? Any more questions? So I hope to see you on Wednesday, 9:05. So let us start quickly so you have time to present and we have something else to discuss with you. Or if we present, the first thing is to finish with presentations, then we have to start with our projects. So keep thinking, why did you choose why did you think your methodological design can be either quantitative or qualitative? Okay, so you can contact me if you have any questions.
Thank you, Miss.
You're welcome. Thank you, girls, boys. Lucas, take care. See you next week. Contact me in any case.
Thank you, Miss.
Okay.
Have a good week.
Have a good week.
Bye, Miss.
Nice to see you. Bye-bye.
Bye, Miss. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Miss.
Bye.
Profe,
Yes, Griselda, how are you doing?
sí, yo le iba a preguntar, profesora, algo sobre el computador, si usted
Ajá.
alguna vez lo había usado con una segunda pantalla.
No, ¿por qué? ¿O sí o no? No sé. ¿Por qué? Era de mi hermana.
No, es que estoy haciendo un taller, profesora, y el hecho es que al compartir pantalla yo no veo a mis alumnos, entonces me conseguí un monitor y todo.
Pero hay una forma, Liselda, en el compartir en el mismo PPT.